So the council acknowledges the Wadawurrung traditional owners of this land, pay my respects to all elders past and present, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the greater Geelong community today. Members are advised that this is a virtual meeting, is being recorded and will be published on the council's website. If any committee member loses connectivity with this meeting, they will be marked as absent for the time they are away. If a quorum cannot be maintained during the meeting due to a member's losing connectivity, we'll adjourn for meeting for 10 minutes to re-establish a quorum. If a quorum cannot be achieved, the meeting will be abandoned and postponed until next Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. Voting will be by show of hands. Speak to an item, raise your hand. As we know, we ask you to keep your mic muted when you're not speaking. As per the requirement of COVID-19 Omnibus Bill 2020, Part 12, Clause 394, can I please have a show of hands from everybody that you can both see and hear myself and other committee members? Excellent. All right. What have we got? Apologies?
Apology from Steph Davies.
Okay, yeah. She's the only
one. And that's all.
Only one. Right, good. So seek confirmation. No, hang on.
We actually have to elect the deputy chair.
Yeah, I meant to speak to you about that, Jodie. That was I saw that there, and I hadn't discussed that with you. So, how are we going to do that? The election of the deputy.
So a nomination form had gone out to all committee members, and that was due back last night if anyone was keen to have that role. We didn't receive any nominations back. However, we can accept from if anyone in the committee meeting today is happy to. Oh, I saw a hand.
I'd like to.
Yeah, it was quick. Rachel.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed the emails, but I'd be interested.
Yeah, sure. So we need a mover and seconder for Rachel as deputy chair. So mover Heidi, second is Lucy. And could I see a show of hands, all those in favour of Rachel as deputy chair? Wow. Congratulations, Rachel.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You're now deputy chair of the Central Geelong Marketing Committee.
Hey,
right,
Pete.
So, yes, Ben.
What does the deputy chair do?
I imagine the only duty the deputy chair may have is when I'm absent as chair and would run the meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so any declarations of conflict of interest? If they arise, your hand up, indicate what it is. Acceptance of the previous minutes of the June 2020 meeting. So I need someone to move and second the previous meeting minutes. Mover Narelle, morning Narelle, and seconded by
Rachel.
Rachel.
Was it?
Sorry, I missed that.
Rachel.
All in favour? Thank you. Any matters arising from those minutes, Jodie?
Yes, there were a couple of things. Just to confirm, we were investigating options for an alternate delivery or letterbox option for TASE. We actually chose to go electronic and to push that more electronic and to do more editorial. So we were able to get increased editorial down along the Surf Coast and in with Forte and some of those other online publications, as well as increasing the ads and the EDMs that we were doing in regards to it. It was just the print cost and getting the print out and the delay of the print at that stage just became a bit too much for the value for what we were getting at that stage, for the cost that it would be. And the other one was to negotiate the amended partnership with the Geelong Cats, and I've got that on the agenda for later, just to give you an idea of what we were able to land on with our partnership with the Cats for this season.
Yep, okay. All right, thank you. Question time. Have we had any questions submitted at all, Jodie? No?
No.
Okay. We'll keep moving into section B, reports. The finance summary.
Okay, so all of these documents are sitting in everyone's meeting pack, which is in the Dropbox. But I got the year-end results for us, and because of COVID, we didn't expend our total budget for the financial year. And as a Section 86 committee, we do get the capacity to roll over the money into the new financial year. The rollover amount, which will include what we'll spend on the spend and win for August. So we'd already agreed that we were going to do the spend and win. We were hoping that we might have been able to do that in June, and then we thought we might have been able to do that in July, but it's now gone to August at this stage. And so the cost for that spend and win will come out of this carryover amount of 100. This is the estimate. There might be some small fluctuations to this, but $117,288 will roll over into the new financial year. And I would imagine that the majority of that, when we talk through the next document, will be allocated to projects that will be assisting businesses in the response to COVID, and how they're surviving, and being able to push that money into projects that will make a difference for businesses on the ground. But everything that we were able to deliver from the program this year, we delivered. But certainly that carryover includes things like the Story Fest that we weren't able to deliver, the amended school holiday programs that happened, as well as the May Magic. And we weren't delivering the networking events over that period of time either.
Yep. All right, thank you. Anyone got any questions in relation to those figures? No? All right, thank you. They're just for noting, Jodie, aren't they?
Yes, just for noting.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the evaluation report card.
Sorry, I should have continued then. So that was just the year end. What I wanted to present as well was the project allocation for this next financial year. So when we did the last annual activities plan, we actually did it for 2 years. So we did from 2019 to 2021 to take us through to the last 2 years of the special rate. So the budget that was going to roll over for this year was really very similar projects, because the activities plan had been set, and that document is showing in the meeting pack. It is page 9, and so that's where we've got all of those projects listed. That's from our strategic framework and activities plan listed, where we've broken down how much budget we will allocate, including project delivery costs and the estimated staff hours that would be allocated to those particular projects. What I've done is I've gone through to try and just do an update to try and include this carryover amount so that we can start to get working on how that's going to roll out this year. Certainly there's going to be some things that we've allocated budget for at the moment based on the original activities plan that may not be able to be delivered or may need to be amended because of the impacts of COVID. So I would have said last month we were probably, as we were thinking things were going to be opening up a little bit more, that we'd be moving into Christmas and hoping that we'd be sort of delivering big, full, normal Christmas programs. I'm not sure. I don't think any of us are sure what everything looks like over the next few months. So when I present this, it's clearly going to be fluid, and the committee will be making lots of decisions over the next year about how we're allocating money to projects based on what we can do with the particular restrictions that are in place. So things like tastes, which we're delivering now, so that's from this particular budget. The sidewalk sales, May Magic, which will still be delivered in May at this stage, but we'll also have the spend and win to try and generate spending in Central Geelong. Things like the school holiday program, Story Fest and Christmas are all in there based on what the committee agreed when they did that strategic plan over the 2 years. Things like sponsorships. So in the sponsorship, we've just got the budget there, and I've put where we've often spent that money. to the side. But that doesn't mean that we haven't got sponsorship arrangements already in place with these organisations, and the same with partnerships. While there's money allocated to partnerships, we do not have now beyond what we've already paid the 2020 partnership with the Cats. If there was any ongoing, that would have to come back to the committee for decision. So that while there's money allocated for partnerships, it's not directed towards the Cats at this stage, or the makers and growers market, or any of the other things that we've partnered or renewed Geelong, which is now not there. I guess things like the networking events, where we've had allocation for networking events, we don't know what they're going to look like. That money may be spent in different ways by decision of the committee. But what I was really trying to do was show you what the committee had hoped to deliver this coming financial year, and then I think over the next few months there'll be a lot of committee discussion about where that goes to. There's been some slight increases in costs of administration with just the normal CPI increases on things, and where we've put a contingency element in that anyway. But what you'll find just on page 10 is that there's that trying to give the committee an indication of where we would appreciate some additional funds to be able to make some of the projects a little bit more robust, or to expand them. So the additional project allocation with the carryover is $55,000 towards the spend and win in August. So that's replicating May Magic, but we do have some additional costs in relation to the premise cleaning and staffing. So we need to be the same way every retailer is having to be really careful with staffing, cleanliness, PPE, additional screening, all those kind of things. We will need to do the same. Christmas, we would like to do some more augmented reality for Christmas, so to actually do some things where people can do small family groups. We've got some ideas for Christmas that we'll talk about as we move into the Executive Officer report. And we think that there is the opportunity to use technology more effectively, and we have done our augmented reality in the past on the smell of an oily rag, and it needs to be increased to be able to provide probably a better experience for our customers. We'd love to see our photo library renewed, so we just are doing so much digital content at the moment that we're reusing a lot of our photos, and also getting content off the businesses. But we're seeing some real gaps in new content that we need. We think that there's going to need to be a lot more spend local initiatives. So I've allocated some for that, and our digital and social is so important at the moment when we're trying to communicate with people, and then some contingency in that. We would come back before we make any decisions about Christmas to just say, this is what we're wanting to present, this is what we think is feasible to present, and the committee would then make the decision about those particular elements for Christmas once we've got all of the quotes back in, and making sure that what we're delivering can be delivered based on small group, family group activity, and meet those restrictions that could be in place for a long time. So that's how the project allocation and the budget is sitting at the moment, and how that we're proposing that additional project allocation comes across to help expand our existing programs.
Excellent. Good work, Jodie. We certainly have to be, as a committee, nimble, and perhaps being ready to adapt quickly to what's happening out there. So done some homework there, and we're ready. Anyone got any comment on that? Hugo.
Oh yeah, Hugo's on mute. You're on mute, Hugo.
I'm on mute. How's that?
No, you're right.
I just wanted to support what you said about the photography. I know we're in the same position because our business isn't running, so you're constantly pulling out the old favourites. I wouldn't in any way suggest not having a budget allocated for the photography, but I'm also wondering about whether it's worth thinking about the success of and I'm not saying producing a calendar, but when you look at the City of Greater Geelong's calendar, the incredible local photographers. So whether it's worth thinking about having a two-pronged approach. One would be having commercial photographers that we pay, of course, in that budget, and I don't think we should in any way reduce the budget, but whether it might be worth looking at a central Geelong photo competition, a bit like our buskers competition, because it can be delivered obviously digitally. And I know, you might get some really amazing artsy shots, some really good corporate look. So whether if the committee feels like a photo comp might be something worth thinking about in the new, it can be delivered obviously without having to produce any hard collateral, but certainly as well as commissioning some photography. Did that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Good work, Hugo. There's something for you, Jodie.
We'll have a look.
I like that idea
Rachel?
of the submissions,
Yeah.
just as long as we make sure we credit them, so we're not just getting free stuff for artists. I also think you guys have more than pivoted. You've done an entire new plan, so well done.
Yeah, excellent work.
Rachel, I know that we've always given them, our photographers, a credit, and we put that in the agreement with them that wherever possible, unless it's left out by accident by a publication. But I know that if there was a cash prize or something, it might also help a lot of people in the arts community who are photographers, and might also generate some really good social media with people submitting their shots. So I know that these things sound easy and there's a lot more work in implementing it, Jodie. So it's just a food for thought. But I know how popular the calendar competitions become.
Absolutely. Let us look into it, and we'll bring it back to the committee at a future meeting.
Thanks, Hugo. So we'll keep moving, Jodie.
We'd like a mover and seconder to
we
that.
need a mover and seconder for that. Okay.
Updated project allocation.
Updated allocation moved by Bernie and seconded. Looking for a hand, Greg. All in favour? It is passed. Thanks, Jodie. That was good. What are we up to? Evaluation report card.
Okay. So each year, as we finish the financial year, the Central Geelong marketing team pulls together all of the evaluation and puts it into a report card and try to just show what we've done this year versus the year prior. So the 2019-2020 report cards in the meeting pack. I know it's a long document. It lists each of the items within our strategic plan and then annual activities plan and says what we've achieved. It doesn't capture everything. We try and put as much in there as possible. But as you can see, as we've gone through, we're trying to give you an indication of how we've spent the money and what the benefits have been. And I think we do a pretty good job of being able to evaluate our programs and show the benefit of the programs, and then the year-on-year changes to that. It doesn't always increase. So this is covering pages sort of 10. It's quite a long document. I understand that not everyone will have had time to have read this line by line, or maybe don't find it quite as fascinating as the Central Geelong marketing team do. But we've tried to demonstrate the reach of our programs, both online as well as the impact that the program brings to the businesses. So I guess some highlights for us is our digital comms. This year we've had an increase of total unique visitors to the website has gone up to just shy of 400,000 unique visitors, and it's an 18% increase on the year before. And certainly COVID has meant that we've used the website differently this year. We tend to push a lot of traffic to the website through our events, and we didn't have as many events this or the first part of this year. So that's been a challenge to the website. Our app installs, it talks about our social media following, our databases, so knowing how valuable our databases are, that it's, you know, about 32,000 people that have opted in, that want to know about our programs and their goals. Taste of Central Geelong, just showing the outcomes and the evaluations of each of those programs all the way through. The same with Christmas. I guess the highlighting for Christmas, that we knew that Christmas this year was going to be, or not this year, Christmas 2019 was going to be different to 2018. There were some elements that weren't delivered, like the Maya windows, and we took some hits with our Christmas program from that respect. But still really strong evaluation, showing that we had, it was something like almost $2.5 million of benefit back to businesses, and a return of investment. And from every dollar we spent, returned almost just over $39 back to businesses. So a good return on the investment that we put into Christmas, and just all the way through. So I'm not going to go through it line by line. I just think there's some really important evaluations in there that the committee may not have been aware of, and bringing it all into one document actually allows us to use that really effectively to be able to demonstrate back to businesses, councillors, the broader community, the benefits of what this program actually brings. And we do put into these programs that social and community benefit element as well. So knowing that not only, yes, we are very focused on the economic benefit back to businesses and property owners, but also understanding that the programs that we're delivering are actually bringing great social and community benefit to the broader community, not just the people that live in Central Geelong, but the entire municipality and broader out into the regions. So I would encourage everybody to have a read of that particular document. It's a 9-pager, and it really does show what, as a committee, has been achieved. We've used that information to go into, I think on page 20 of the meeting pack, you'll see that there's a designed up version of this. So it's talking about our key programs and highlights for 2019-2020, and it actually, in an infographic kind of format, shows what the program is, how many participants, what the return on investment was. What we've tried to do is use that document, and we'll use that to communicate to councillors. The CBD task force will get a copy of this to be able to look at the programs that have been delivered. And we've made sure in that particular document, we've talked about our consolidated advertising, digital marketing, the business and support programs that we deliver, the social and community benefit factors. And we've also made a point of highlighting the creative and innovative elements of the program delivery, so that we're not just consolidated advertising and it's not all print media. There is some really innovative things that we're doing, including the app, the augmented reality, how we use the City Insight device counters and how we were integral into the development of that technology, the television commercials, the 3D murals, how we've pivoted, I think that's going to be the word of 2020, into the COVID. So using, flip programs and digital programs, guided Eat the Street tours, and using the workers engagement program, flipping that really quickly across to an online version, and really making sure that we're leveraging as much as we can. So we do estimate our in-kind and financial support additional on top of that what we actually leverage is in excess of $300,000. So that document's a really good one. I'll make sure that every committee member has a copy of that independently, so that you're able to, if you ever asked and you're wanting to be able to demonstrate to other business operators about what Central Geelong Marketing's achieved over the last year, you can use that document, and it really does highlight what we've done.
Yeah, certainly does. Some good figures there, Jody.
Some good figures.
Yeah.
Hugo's got his hand up.
I thought unprecedented was the word of 2020. So
Yeah.
pivoted. Hugo.
Pivoted.
Peter, knowing that, heaven forbid, there are some detractors who are not fans of Central Geelong marketing, and knowing that that document sounds amazing, congratulations, Jody and the team. But from a media and comms point of view, how do we tell this story in an abbreviated format to the public? Is it through the media and comms department? Jody, of course, will know, but I think there's a story to be told there, and whether it's through the Chamber of Commerce's pitching it to them for an EDM, whether it's through our local media, I do think we need a certain amount of propaganda here, and good propaganda for all the right reasons of some of these achievements. Because not only is it a great business story, but in Central Geelong and having an office in Little Malib Street, I think this is a crucial time. We talk about that this organisation has pivoted so perfectly. How do we capitalise on this from a positive propaganda point of view, especially knowing that there are detractors within the council levels or within local traders, which is normal, of course, but this is the ideal time to really reinforce this message, and knowing they won't all read the whole document, which of course we will, but how do we get that through media and comms and get that really good news story out there ASAP?
Are you happy for me to answer that, Peter?
Yes, Jody.
Yep.
Yep.
So definitely now this has gone to the committee. This will be broadened out and distributed more widely. So it will go to all businesses via our EDMs. So we'll tell every business in Central Geelong about this. In addition, it will be used in the upcoming in CBD engagement task force, where that information will be distributed out and will be made public. So this document will go on our website and all of that. And we do, as that report, it also has to go to council. So we have to do an annual report to council. So these figures, and there's media releases that go through the media and comms team as a result of that communications with council. And so most years, there is always a media release about this, and we'll also distribute it out to our partners and ask committee members to do that as well, our stakeholder organisations.
Terrific.
When does it come before council, Jody?
It hasn't. There's not a date set for that at the moment. The engagement, the documents being included for consideration for distribution as part of the task force, but I'm not sure how that's progressing at the moment.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're not sure how the task force is going to operate, do we?
No, not yet. I don't think.
No.
Oh, well, I'm not privy to that. So,
Yeah.
Peter, didn't the task force excludes members of this committee, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Do you want to comment on that?
I shouldn't, because I've got
Okay.
one view on it,
No.
and it's not the same as what was voted for. So, and I spoke against it, Hugo.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's a bit hard to get advice if you're not hearing from people on the inside as well as the outside. So
Yeah.
all the more reason that we really make sure I encourage every committee member to try and tell the good news story to everyone possible, especially people who end up on that committee.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think there's 38 people on the committee. How they were going to run it, I think they're still trying to work that out. But they're limited. I think people, I'm giving my personal views now, but which I perhaps shouldn't, but people are volunteering themselves for that committee, and on the belief, I'm sure, that they can give ideas about Central Geelong and what should happen, but they're actually very limited to their thoughts. And one is public transport, 2 is parking, 3 is Central Geelong Marketing Committee, and 4 is the levy. That's all they can express their thoughts on, and nothing else. So I'm sure they will be a bit disappointed themselves, but that's all. That's the limits they have.
My biggest issue is that the detractors, including my landlord, who is one and a significant landlord in Geelong.
Yep.
When I've spoke, and he nominated me to go on, which is why I'm here, as not coming from the dark side. But when I ask him what the alternatives are, no one puts forward a plausible argument of what an alternative. They'll tell you what they don't like about Central Geelong marketing, but when you actually say, well, what's the alternative? I'm yet to hear one.
Yeah. No, I'm a firm belief, and I know where you're coming from, that they think that the council will pick up the tab. So the work will continue, but council will pay for it. That's what I think some of them will believe. But anyway, we're getting off track now.
I believe many of them would be appeased if parking fines were linked to the levy. So the levy was seen as, rather than being on their tenants, if they felt that it was linked to the parking fines, and you created a nominal association between those two products.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
we'll press on. Jodie, what are we up to? We're up to the,
so we need a mover and seconder to note that evaluation report.
Note the evaluation report. Thank you. Moved Hugo, seconded Felicity. All in favour? Thanks, Jodie. It's a good document. Says a lot, doesn't it? The response and recovery initiatives, COVID.
Okay, so just letting you all know where we're at. We are still delivering the workers' engagement as online, the training program as online. We're continuing to communicate digital and the adaptation of businesses via our social media. Our EDMs have gone back to fortnightly, just to make sure that we weren't pushing out too often. So fortnightly, unless there's something very important that needs to go out to business operators. We are continuing to make the programs that we're hoping to deliver COVID safe. So from a risk perspective, there's some significant impacts of COVID. You may have seen that we had the Pick a Patch activity that was planned as part of tastes, and we just got some legal and risk advice on that. And even though we think that technically we could have done it within the restrictions, it was deemed that it was considered too much a risk to do that particular activity. So I think we're really feeling our way, and we're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into just making sure that not only are we running activities that meet whatever the particular requirement is, but knowing that it could change at any moment. So we're not planning for big group activities or sort of small family group activities, but that still could be curtailed. The PPE, the staff training, we've been able to bring a number of the casual staff that work for us back. They haven't started work yet, but hopefully for the spend and win in August. So that's really great that the staff that we had who'd been stood down as a result of COVID will be hopefully gaining some more hours with us through the spend and win, because our small team can't deliver that large program in person ourselves. We need some additional staffing help with that, but bringing casual staff in then has a whole range of additional training from a keeping them safe as well as keeping the general community safe. So almost everything we're doing and touching at the moment has that COVID lens on it. And we're continuing to support businesses as much as possible. So where we're able to gauge occasionally, a business will need some additional assistance, so we'll do a workers offer with that particular business, or they might have something. So making sure that we're communicating as much as possible with businesses so they know what supports we can give and give the support when we can. It's really challenging out there. I'm not sure if anyone's been in lately, but it does feel that there's not a lot of people in the city, and it's really hard to get a park. So we're seeing the impact of free parking already on the city, and it does seem that workers are parking around. It's harder to get a park in those sort of inner blocks. than it was earlier. So we're just getting anecdotal feedback on that, but the people we're talking to, the staff are loving it because they're parking out on the streets.
Can I just say as well, Jodie, I went in the other day. I went in on midweek last week, and around our Broome Street Busport office, I couldn't find a car park on the street. I had to park in our normal car park, which I wouldn't have thought so in a time like this. I went to the local dry cleaner on Mallet Street, and he said basically all the businesses around him just park on the street. So they are taking up car parks of businesses of people that could use their business. So it's not, I don't think it's the right thing to, like, there's no car parks on the street.
Yeah. From, I think it's first or second week in August, it's back to timed free parking. So you can park in a 2 hour, but then, you take that risk of staying there over 2 hours. Hugo.
Hugo's on mute.
You're on mute, mate.
You're on mute. Oh, hang on, I can unmute him.
Okay. I just want to reinforce what Narelle said. It's actually not helping the traders, the free parking, and the time limits won't fix it. The shops aren't any busier. It's the car parks are all taken up. It's a massive problem. And I think, Peter, the sooner we can actually, dare I say, bring back the parking fees, because it's working. It was a really good initiative. It's not anymore.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid it's with us for a while. Another one that I spoke against, but there is a group that want to support free parking, and they had the numbers.
Well, this is a great time to show that group that it doesn't work and hear from the local traders.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
I think the challenge is how do businesses provide that feedback? So, I guess if any of us are talking to businesses, it's asking them to make that known to council or to their elected representatives.
Yeah. Ben, have you got any feedback from the chamber on this?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, Pete, we discussed it at board level, and I must admit we were kind of split down the middle on it.
Yeah.
So that's why we weren't able to sort of feed back into that council meeting. Look, I'll speak off the record and say that it makes total sense for me to continue with the free parking so that you've got spaces being revolving, so more people can use the spaces. And also the $5 million that the parking would have achieved between now and Christmas, I believe that could have been better spent on programs that actually activate the city centre and deliver value to traders and businesses. I think that could have been more targeted than just losing it down the free parking toilet, if that makes sense. So Look, that's kind of me speaking Chatham House rules. We weren't in a position to really, because we were split at board level, we weren't in a position to make a really strong public statement like we have in previous years. But at the same time, So look, that's it in a nutshell, Pete.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Jodie, I think we'll keep moving. The conversation on parking could go on all day. The update, the Taste of Central Geelong.
So we are day 20. What's today? The 21st. Day 21 of Taste of Central Geelong. So Nikki's online. I won't make her come and speak. But credit to Nikki for putting together a really strong digital program that's had really good engagement. The businesses that had activities to book, so those small group activities, have had a really good response to those. Certainly capacity was less this year, but the things like the high teas and those have booked well. The pick and mix tickets have been well received, so that's where people are able to take the voucher and move around a number of businesses in Central Geelong and receive a a tasting from that business, a takeaway tasting. So the activities we were providing weren't taking seats from cafes and restaurants. They were actually bringing people in with the hope that they would take the takeaway tasting and purchase additional items. And we have had really good feedback from that. There's a number of businesses that the tastings were valued at $5 or $10. The tasting at Twisted came in like, 3 boxes like that. So definitely more value than the $10 value that we'd put on it. And certainly a number of those businesses understand that exceeding expectations is a really good way of gaining customers and getting good response back from them. We've had great editorial. I'm still writing every week for the Geelong Independent, so we're getting pretty much a double-page editorial each week with the Independent, which is terrific, and it's been very taste-focused. Surf Coast Living, Forte, there's the Addy. We had a really great, we pretty much had the buyout of GT, so all of those pages, and have had continual updates on that. The Dessert Wars is still happening, so asking people to vote for, so you can actually vote just on the look of the dish, or you can go in and taste the dish at those premises. And additionally, we've got the 4 locations where there are where the chefs provided a recipe to do at home and upload that. So our competitions have gone well. We gave away 3 date nights, and so that's increased our database quite significantly. So doing what we can and using good content, of course, for our social and digital. But the program, given the challenges of what we're in at the moment, the program was really very robust and was able to bring great benefit back to those participating businesses, and credit to Nikki for the work she did on it. And it's not over yet.
No, it's not over yet. Yeah.
Not over yet. Yeah. And I can also confirm that we were able to negotiate the reduced cost for Maggie Beer and the reduced cost for the use of the venue. So we've been able to just, with the losses that we'd agreed as a committee, to just forfeit the deposit, the reduced deposit amount, and move on.
Yeah, okay. All right, yeah, the taste, the program is fantastic. And you're right, for the restrictions that's been placed on us all, and for you guys to be able to get this up and running the way it has, credit to the committee and especially to Nikki. So Nikki, if you can hear us, congratulations, good work.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. There's a voice. Right, we'll continue on then.
Yes.
Spin and win. Spend and
win. So spend and win. So hopefully there's no changes in the current restrictions between now and the end of August. And Emma and I are trying to delay the printing as much as possible. Of the items that we require for this particular promotion, but we do have a location where that will be the redemption booth for the spend and win. So commencing on the 1st of August to the 31st of August, the Little Mallet Central location that we've used previously for the Neon Room, and so thank you to Felicity for the support for the use of that premise. We'll also have booths in Westfield and Market Square on the weekends. The cash prize is $10,000. We are looking at having smaller, the prizes 2nd, 3rd and 4th that we normally get donated from businesses is actually very, very, it's very hard to expect businesses in the current state of play to be donating significant prizes to this promotion. So we understand that. So we're doing some workarounds with that, and we'd rather make sure that the money, while we've got a $10,000 cash prize, we're looking at some sort of larger prizes in a number of venues to keep that money in central Geelong. The vouchers themselves, we're still working on those voucher redemption locations, and they're slowly coming on board. We are reimbursing a portion of the vouchers. So working with businesses as much as possible and hoping to have between 15 and 20 voucher redemption partners once we kick off in a little over a week and a bit's time. The promotion itself will be similar to the May Magic format that we've always had, but when people are coming in, we're working with our web developers to reduce the time that people are spending in the redemption location, but also to reduce the hands-on element of the entry. So we're actually able to send to the person's device a form for the person to enter on their own device. So they come in, show us the receipts, and then they will receive on their own device a form to fill out. So they're touching their own device, keeping all of their germs to themselves, and reducing the handling within that space as much as possible. So of course needs all the social distancing, the sneeze guards, etc. So we're working through that program at the moment to make sure that we're COVID safe, that our staff are safe, that we're able to do it in a way that doesn't pose any risk to the community, because at the moment you are allowed to go to shops and do all of that. So Emma's got a program that she's working on that is changing constantly. So credit to Emma for working through those issues as they come and taking it through council's risk element, risk process as well, because that's certainly no mean feat. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone got any questions on that? Okay, we'll keep moving. Thanks, Jodie. CATS partnership.
So just to let you know, we're able to go back and negotiate just the instalment that we had already paid, so no additional instalments for the CATS. So we kept the CATS video element for taste. So you will have seen that there were 3 with ex-players that went really well, had very good reach on the CATS media as well as our own. So we had the three with all our sponsor messaging, plus EDMs, plus increased social posts, plus promotion, pre-production as a behind the scenes, as well as the actual videos, which we were then able to use. Player appearances, so for the sidewalk sales, so we still have an ambassador for that shopping festival in appearance. So it's the photo shoot only, not coming on the day, because we won't be able to have an activity where we're bringing people to one location at one particular time, with EDMs and socials, as well as all the social media campaigns for school holidays. So our ambassador with that, which has increased social posts and EDMs, taking us right throughout the rest of the year, right up into and including our Christmas and summer program. And so that'll feature imagery of our player ambassadors. So they were good to deal with. And you know, if there's things that we've got that we think are relevant, we can go back and still get additional support from them for those particular programs. So I think we've come to an agreement that still provides a great, good value for us, and gives us really good content, which is important, as well as providing support back to them.
Yeah,
which is what a partnership is.
Yes, well done. All right, no questions on that. We'll keep moving. The month overview.
Okay, so just having a look at the online training. So encouraging if any committee members are dealing with business operators, to encourage them to look at the training opportunities that are available, as well as some of the support measures that are available through the City of Greater Geelong and some of the stakeholder organisations. We are including that in our EDMs. Digital, so in the meeting pack you will see the year-end digital results, pretty phenomenal, and we did June saw that big jump in database subscribers as a result of the taste competition. Our website stats are still down compared to last June, June on June, and that's because we didn't have the same amount of traffic coming through for events, in particular tastes. The digital, just the use of the flip books and that Julie in the digital space has done some great work with our web developers to really adapt the programs and the online content of that into a way that's really usable for customers. So have a look at that financial year digital report in there as well. Things like our waterfront makers and growers, they've cancelled the August market as well. So the first market that we've always supported that market when it changed from when we merged our farmers market with the steam packet market, but they've obviously have some challenges as a result of COVID. The Wooden Boat Festival acquittal is in the meeting pack. The probably one that I wanted to talk about was the professional services campaign. So we'd picked that one back up again, but we've just adjusted with the last announcements that we're not pushing so much in for those Werribee people to come down to Geelong to do their professional services work.
Yes, good work.
Yeah, so we've just moved that campaign, adjusted that a little bit so that it's meeting the requirements. With Christmas, so the plan at the moment is augmented reality, 3D artwork, but looking where we can use local artists. The trail component with the treat hunt component. So that went very, very well in the school holiday program that's just finished. So the school holiday evaluation is out at the moment, and we'll bring that to the committee next meeting. But there were some really great things that we trialled during that school holiday that we think give us great opportunity for Christmas. So that sort of trail treat hunt, and we're in the middle of investigating a Lego based activity that will move people safely through the city in small family groups. So we will bring that back, and wanting to activate vacant premises as much as possible. So have some locations that we're able to activate from a visual merchandising perspective. We won't have the My Windows, but being able to have some really great windows that have been decorated, hopefully in the theme that we're going for. So we'll bring that back at the next committee meeting for discussion. And that's it from me.
Thanks, Jodie. It's not a quiet time, is it?
No, it is not.
Challenging. Anyone got any comments on those figures, or? No? All right. There's no confidential general business. Generally go around the tape. I don't know if anyone wants to start. What about the deputy chair? Rachel? Yep.
I think the saying of the year is going to be, you're on mute. Our GMHPA's TVCs have now pivoted to being telehealth focused. Our eye care and dental practices are operating, I don't think at full capacity, but at quite a good capacity. And I'm going to use my little soapbox here to remind everyone to keep getting your health checks. All health providers are operating, COVID safe, so don't neglect your health. Get your eyes tested, go to the dentist, go to the physio, all those kind of things. There were some nice shots in the Addy of the new building, so that is still on track and exciting. Yeah. That's probably me.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. Greg?
Hi, hi everyone. Yeah, well, last meeting, things were starting to look up. Needless to say, lots happened since then. We've just had cancellations again. We now have to screen people because people are trying to come from Melbourne. We don't want them here. Not a good time. Not good to see how it's going to turn around anytime soon. We still have some corporates in, but if it wasn't for them, we'd have nothing. So,
All right. Thanks, Greg. Hang in there, mate. Steph.
So it's still busy as what we want at the Blood Donor Centre in Geelong. The only thing that I guess is interesting to mention is that we're actually looking for a new donor centre manager at the moment. So we're advertising currently. So if anybody knows any great managers out there that would like to apply, they don't need to have clinical experience. Refer them on. The job ad's only going to be up for another few days. So we're looking for somebody that's a great leader.
Thanks, Steph. Yeah, there's anyone interested of the committee? Ben.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone heard this morning that they're signposting out the announcement today around JobKeeper. So it's looking like JobKeeper will be with us till the end of March, just so everyone knows. Probably capped at about $1,100 per fortnight for full-time employees, and then scaled down based on how many hours people work. Worth noting. Certainly from the Chamber's perspective, you know, we're just super busy trying to deliver value to our members at the moment. We've started to organise our virtual event for the Geelong Business Excellence Awards in October, and those applications close this week. And surprisingly, we're expecting applications for the awards to be somewhere close to our totals for the last couple of years, which is really, which bodes really well and suggests that we're pretty resilient in the Geelong business community. We've also got, I won't mention it at the moment beyond the fact that we've got a couple of really exciting projects that are soon to be announced that are going to provide a lot of value to the broader business community as well. So I hope to be able to announce that in the next sort of 3 weeks. So yeah, it's challenging times, but I don't know, we just try and go week by week and just keep plugging on, really.
Yeah. It sounds exciting. So announcement in about 3 weeks, is it?
Yeah. Around a really big sort of developmental program for businesses.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Felicity?
Just working to support all of our retailers as we have been over the past couple of months. Now a little bit helping them get PPE equipment to make sure that all their staff are safe. A lot of our retailers are reporting in that they are still getting a lot of customers out of Melbourne, which is quite concerning for them as well as what Greg said. And we're also just looking forward to September, Christmas, and trying to plan our activations for then based on what we think the restrictions will be. So yeah, challenging times, but everyone seems to be pulling together and pretty positive really. So that's good.
Thanks, Felicity. Here you go.
Unmute. I got it. For our business and the music industry, things have moved from bad to worse. We were thinking that there might have been some opportunities to run this year on some level. With the setbacks in Melbourne, it's not going to happen. So for the Blues Train, we've on the 1st of August, we're going to launch a GoFundMe campaign. We're going to try and raise a minimum of $50,000 to try and hibernate the business. So we've moved from a bounce back model, from a, consolidate and bounce back, to probably, we won't use the word hibernate publicly, but realistically we'll have to hibernate that business, which is a daunting challenge. If we can't raise the money, we'll probably fold. I want to point out to everyone that all the grants that you've seen for arts, culture, music, the federal government ones still have no details, but all the grants that have been announced to date at the state government level and coming up at federal government are competitive grants. So for those of us that didn't have grant writers when we moved to JobKeeper, it means that I'm trying to train existing staff to become grant writers. There's some grant writing workshops. The Arts and Culture are running one today, and so is Music Development Office. But for the council, the City Greater Geelong, for many of our traders, what we will see is not just the music industry, but many people are going to have to learn how to write grants, and workshops aren't purely the answer. I think we're going to need mentors where we can actually have ongoing mentoring to try and look. Grant writing is a reasonably unique skill set. It's not unachievable, but it's difficult when you kept your previous staff who weren't grant writers. So look, I won't dwell on that too much, but Jody and certainly to Ben, grant writing workshops, but also having funding allocated in the future for all sorts of businesses that are going to need to write grants for compliance or redesigning their business or whatever it is, because competitive grant writing is pretty cruel. We've written 3 so far and been knocked back on all 3. So when your business has been 100% down since March, finding out that you didn't get 3 out of 3 grants is devastating. And there's going to be more of that to come. So very challenging times, but don't think that other businesses won't have to learn to write grants, more so than any other area, I think. For Bay City events, Royal Geelong Yacht Club can't really move forward. And I'm still working with Little Mallup Central to try and work out whether we could do something online in the near future. And I've been working on a COVID assessment for music venues program, which I've been working on for a few months with Tourism Geelong. Have given me a little bit of resource help, which has been much appreciated. So we're keeping busy, but when you talk about pivoting, we're now pivoting into a sort of a crisis mode for us.
Yeah, certainly tough times, Hugo. Thanks for your honesty there.
No worries.
Amber.
Yeah, so I've been at Platform, we've been doing much the same as you, Hugo, just kind of grant writing central and really kind of learning on our feet. So yeah, we've been doing that. We've also just launched, to try and help emerging artists, we've launched our Platform Lab program, which has been something that's just been a response to COVID. So it's offering 6 months of studio space, so they can come in and use our building sort of while it's not being used for much else, and they can get $5,000 to help support a project or some kind of a creative development work. And we're not expecting any outcome, so it's not outcome based. So those applications are open, and it's open to emerging artists across Geelong. Yes, that's what we've sort of been working on at the moment.
Yeah, good. Sounds exciting. Narelle.
Basically, Greg, being an accommodation provider, would know this. Our industry, once Melbourne shut down in terms of accommodation, a number of businesses out on the Bellarine actually shut down as well, because 95% of their business is Melbourne clientele. So moving forward for us as well, we probably wanted to, when we were coming out of these restrictions, want to start going out with some marketing campaigns, but we've had to put those on hold because a vast majority of our visitation is from Melbourne. So it's a tricky one. Our visitation at the moment, or our want to have people go into businesses and spend money, is from local and also regional Victoria. So as we all know, it's interesting times. We did get Tastes in the Age a couple of weeks ago, which was a great little win. Our free membership continues, and it will continue right through till the end of till December, which is great if anyone wants to suggest. They do get a free listing up on the ATDW listing, which goes through to Visit Melbourne, the Australia website, and also our Visit Geelong Bellarine website. Our VICs still are just doing Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and it's staffed by staff from Tourism Greater Geelong and the Bellarine. So our volunteers haven't they haven't been able to go back in there yet. A great clue for the region is that we made the Australian Travellers Top 100 Ways to Holiday here this year. We were number 76 in the food section. And the businesses that were noted in that were Central Geelong businesses, which was Little Mallup Street, Port Phillip Ferries. So in Little Mallup Street, it was Geelong Cellar Door, the Arborist and the Continental, and also the Beach House. And then from Tourism Geelong Ballerine's perspective, we've just come out with a soft launch of a new branding campaign, which is basically greater than. So you'll start seeing that come out from our collateral. It's basically that a region is made up of the sum of its parts. So the parts of it being all of our regions: North Ballerine, South Ballerine, Geelong, Moorabool Valley, the You Yangs. They all have components of those that we can market as greater than something else. So it might be Ocean Grove Beach is greater than running under your own sprinkler at home, or Barwon Heads is greater than going than staying in for the night. So yeah, so we've got a great little campaign there, which you'll start to see being soft launched. And then when the broader visitation becomes available, we'll be able to market it to everybody else as well. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Thanks, Narelle. Bernie.
Look, we're open. JobKeeper certainly made that possible, but it's nothing brilliant at this particular point in time. So, you know, all the metro sites are closed, so we've got 80% of our business shut. So, challenging times.
Has there been many coming?
Oh, we've had a couple of days where we've had 500 people on the lot, but it's nothing brilliant. I think a lot of people are just put off by the fact of all the COVID negativity that's out there, and rightly so. So we're certainly plugging away, but got all the safety stuff in place, and you know, the personal protection stuff for the staff as well. It's a difficult scenario. We're sort of waiting on America to get the cinemas up and going and get the releases going, and you know, that ain't going to happen anytime soon either. So, don't know.
No, okay. Luce.
Yeah, it's still trying to adapt to this new digital age. Our Geelong campuses are kind of starting to go back to a little bit of normality with students coming in. However, our Werribee campuses obviously had to be shut down again, which is a bit difficult. We had a digital orientation last week, and we're working towards a digital open date in September. It's very different to, you know, delivering something in person, but results back from our information sessions that we were delivered digitally in May showed our best conversion rate yet. So it's one positive, and I suppose from a staffing point of view, you know, it means we can sit at our homes and deliver that kind of stuff. So yeah, just working towards, yeah, still giving our students something, and, you know, possible students something, but delivering it safely and still working with whatever Melbourne's thrown up and all those restrictions up there. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Luce. And Heidi.
Yeah, similar to Felicity, just finding a way through for our retailers, working with them, regular check-ins on making sure they know their store occupancy costs, the guidelines that are important to them, taking our customers on that journey of, you know, we're still here for essentials and that sort of thing, but obviously striking the balance of, you don't want to say roll up, it's got to be responsible marketing at this stage. We've been nicknamed the Stephen Bradbury of Victorian centres with Westfield, because all the others have much tougher restrictions than we do, but it's interesting times. But yeah, learning a lot, getting to know our retailers even more, which is, I guess, a positive to come out of this. But yeah, every week is different, finding a way through, watching the traffic numbers. And yeah, June was a mixed result. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next month. And then, like Felicity said, just seeing what is possible for Christmas. But yeah, we have to get very flexible with planning. So yep, determined to find a way through.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Heidi. I think we've been around the screen. I think that's everyone. Jodie, unless you've got any other input.
Unmute myself.
Yep.
Yeah. Nothing from me, unless there's anything from you, Peter. I'm not sure.
No, look, I spoke about the task force, parking. But look, I think as chair and you hear everyone speak, it's and I'm not saying anything that anyone doesn't know anyway, but it's bloody tough out there. And for those in business, and everyone seems to be nodding and agreeing in agreements. So you know, hang in there. But I don't need to say that. I think everyone's adapting. We have to be nimble. We have to be changed with the times, as everyone is doing. But to Jodie and your team, Nikki and Emma, keep up the great work. I think you do extraordinary work. So we have to keep the good fight. So I think that might do us this morning.
Lovely.
So everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.
Meeting closed 8:43. Well done.